Hey everybody, welcome to EDUT 521. My name is Bill Selleck, pronouns are he, him. I am your instructor for the course. Welcome. I already said that. It's okay. So, tiny bit about me, and then we're going to jump in and give you a nice overview of the course. So, I'm Director of Technology at Hillbrook School. We're a K-8 independent school in the Bay Area in Los Gatos. That's the San Jose area. I have three kids. All three of them go to Hillbrook. They're in kindergarten, second, and third grade. Our school's been open since October for in-person learning, and we've been otherwise remote from last March, which is just about a year for all of us until October. So we've had about 80% in-person learners and about 20% remote that have opted in. So all three of my kids have been remote, which means they've been learning from home for just about a year now. So depending on where you are, what you're teaching, what your family situation is, you are likely feeling a lot of the feels that I'm feeling, as my third grader would say. Um, yeah, so this is quite a time to be taking a course. First of all, well, it's not first of all. First of all, I introduced myself. So I guess second of all, um, as things come up, please let me know. Um, I'm already thinking ahead to March 22nd, where I am fortunate enough to get my second vaccine, um, or second vaccine. I guess it's the second vaccine. So I'm already planning ahead to duty coverages. In case I'm going to be out if it hits me harder on the 23rd, 24th. So as wherever you are, if you're fortunate enough to be able to get the vaccine during this course, feel free to proactively reach out to me. Let me know what's going on. Also, as we go through what kind of the schedule of the course is going to look like, thinking ahead so that I know that my shot's going to be on Monday, and so I'm gonna, if I were doing a post for the discussion boards are due Thursday night for initial posts, and then 2 replies by Sunday. I would be sure to get that post in Sunday or Monday, and not wait until Wednesday and then go, oh, wow, that really hit me, and now I'm late. Which actually is a decent segue into making sure that you've read through the syllabus, looked at the late policy. I'll give you a very quick overview here, but please read through the entire syllabus. There's some critically important details in that, one of which is if you just don't turn in an assignment, you get a 0. If there is an emergency and you reach out ahead of time, I'm able to work with you and give you some flexibility. I do recognize that we are taking this course. You're a student in a global pandemic. You're also likely an educator in a global pandemic. And just please make sure you're following the policies. And if something comes up, I will do all that I can for you. I am here for you, and intend to support you in whatever ways I can. And if I hear nothing and no assignment is due, the policies are super clear. You get a 0. So just please do not do that. Reach out to me as proactively as possible, and let me be able to support you through all of those things. So the course is leveraging technology for all students. So in most videos, I'm going to do it's going to be kind of a both and thing. You're going to get a weekly video from me. So in the schedule on the side, each week has its own page inside of Blackboard. I'm going to talk very specifically about the tools, and how they're good for a very specific type of student, and talk about the other side of things is that these strategies are good for all students. Right? Assistive technology, by definition, is assistive and can be for all, right? So this is the one really particular need we have with this piece of assistive technology, and that's likely going to be good for all learners, right? And you can even argue, and we don't need to get into it here, not that we would get into it, you just basically get to listen to me, that all technology is assistive technology. When we refer to technology as, the tech tools that we're using, laptops and mobile devices and whatever, it's all assistive to an extent, right? So there's that, but then also there's these really specific needs that specific types of learners have. So we're going to jump into both of those and try and look really high level at what the technology does, and then also the really specific thing for the particular type of learner. So I'm going to super quickly go through each assignment. Again, each week you'll get a video from me where I'll go into more details of what that's going to be. I just want you to be able to, like, cool, got it, got the idea of what kind of the course is. So most weeks you're going to have some assignment due and you're going to have some discussion board due. For the discussion board, you're going to post once. Please be sure and read through the discussion board rubric so that you're submitting what you need to be submitting. Like as far as length goes, being able to have sources that you cite in the discussion board post, and then what responses look like. So most weeks you're going to have some readings, a couple videos, discussion board, and an assignment. Most weeks. The first assignment you have is the assistive technology table. You're going to see AT abbreviated a lot, mostly because educators love acronyms. AT is assistive technology. So you're just going to have 3 columns talking about part of a writing process, the assistive technology tool being used, and then like what resources are available, what assistive technology is available. You're going to submit that as a reminder, or if maybe this is new to you, then it's not a reminder. You always need to submit a file. So wherever you happen to be working, if it's online like in Google Docs, file, download as, PDF, or Word doc, and submit that Word doc. If you're in Google Slides, similar thing, file, download as, PowerPoint, and upload the PowerPoint. That way we have a file. That's critically important. Please do not submit links. Other websites, it will actually download files, whether it's videos or other files, and then upload them. It's a big part of accreditation for our school. It's a really big deal. So please make sure you're submitting files. So you're going to download that, or just you've already been in Word or whatever, and you're going to upload that file. That is the first assignment. You have an assistive technology rubric. It's just a tool you're going to use to evaluate assistive technologies. And then you're going to look at a couple examples. Let me know which rubric you chose. Like how effective was it? You're going to take an assistive technology tool and actually use the rubric or the evaluation on that tool, with the idea of starting to get some practice in looking at a thing and not just being like, oh, that's cool, but actually being able to look at it more critically and say, it does this, this, and that. Boy, it sure is missing this and that. And that is problematic. So that's what that assignment is. The next assignment, try something new. Yay. You're like, getting a master's. All of this is new. Yes, and you're going to jump into a new piece of technology. We're going to get in some details when that comes around. What you liked, what worked, what didn't, what students is it meant for, how did it impact all the students, and then you're going to continue along the way to add this to your assistive technology tools inventory sheet. That inventory sheet walks you through 4 weeks. So week 1, again, this is super high level, and all this is written down. They're all linked as Google Docs. It's going to look at writing, the next week reading, the next week math, the next week communication. If you are a content-specific teacher or administrator, you can still dig into these and see either how they connect with your content area, how you might support a teacher with them. For example, like if you're teaching music, math is going to come up a lot, right? Like notes are fractions. We even name them that, quarter notes, right? Eighth notes. So as you look at assistive technologies for math, you might be able to connect that actually with music in a way that at first glance you're like, really, I'm going to do math. But it's just also knowing kind of what's around there, developing a broad expertise. Because with this master's, you are going to be the go-to, if you're not already, for technology. And so knowing what's out there, and then also looking more thoughtfully, and in some ways almost kind of forcing, like, how does this fit into what my content area is a really cool exercise. So definitely don't dismiss that kind of at first glance. The next assignment is looking at Bloom's taxonomy, more specifically Bloom's digital taxonomy, and then SAMR, the SAMR. Of all the frameworks we're looking at, I'm definitely, SAMR is my favorite. If you're new to that acronym, actually if you're not new, it still stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. So it's looking at an activity students might do, and then when you translate it to a piece of technology, like, are you just substituting like a paper worksheet for a digital worksheet, or are you really like redefining what that project is through the use of technology? I think that the SAMR model is a really cool lens to look at assistive technology through. It's good stuff. So that's an assignment. Um, you're going to do a presentation. It's called the AT Tools in-service presentation. If that sounds super boring, maybe think about it in terms of a conference presentation. I'm actually presenting at Spring Q. The dates are, I think I have it memorized, it's 9 days long, March 18th through the 27th. Because on weekdays, on school days, it starts at 3 p.m. It's usually like 3 p.m. through 8 p.m. So it's a long conference. I'm actually presenting around assistive technologies. And it's one of those where, like, depending on how you're looking at it, you're like, that looks really boring. But I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a really, really good session. I've presented this one or two other times, and there's just so many practical things that you can introduce colleagues to um, that are just such small shifts that make such a big impact. And so that's really what this is going to be about. Whether it's an in-service you might be leading or a presentation that you absolutely could put into a ed tech conference and present on this about assistive technology tools, um, that's the goal. You're basically going to share, like a visually rich slide deck walking us through some assistive technology tools. The last of the smaller assignments is a 3-day lesson plan. You know what lesson plans are. There's details in the Google Doc. I'll talk more about it when we get to it. The last big thing is the e-portfolio. The E stands for electronic. I always laugh whenever we see the E in front of stuff in a similar way that 21st century learning, humans, it's 2021. This is now the 22nd year of the 21st century. We're like a fifth of the way through it. Like, we need to stop talking as though the 21st century learning is a new exciting thing. It was 15 years ago, maybe. But the e-portfolio, you're really going to be collecting all of the work. So of all the things you take away from this video, aside from learning a little bit about me and what this course is going to be, really understanding what the e-portfolio is. So if you haven't clicked through any things, at least clicking through the Google Doc and looking at what the e-portfolio is going to be really helpful, because you're going to be creating really one massive resource for all the resources throughout the course, all the items, all the assignments, all of that is going to be one big e-portfolio. There's 14 different components to that, and if you are well organized with it, it's going to be one of the lighter lifts of the course, I think, because it's going to be adding stuff that you've done along the way. If you wait till the end to figure out how to organize it, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be overwhelming. So do not do that. Definitely take a look at the rubric now, so that you see, okay, that's what's coming out, so that in each of the weeks you're building and organizing towards that e-portfolio. That's a big takeaway from this video. If you've made it this far, like, congratulations. So that's the course. That's 521. My name's Bill. The next thing you're going to want to do is look over at that sidebar. You're going to jump ahead to week 1. The last big thing is just make sure that you've actually looked at all of the things inside of Blackboard, looking at what those APA resources are. Those are super important. The Writing Studio and all the resources you have available for you there. Looking at the library and the research resources. All of that is fantastic. Make sure you have the textbooks, you've looked at the syllabus, all the things your educators to check, but actually check all of those. And I'll see you over in week 1. Happy 521 and welcome.